Welcome to another episode of Founder Unboxed. I'm your host, Kabir Lal. This is the space where we go beyond balance sheets and boardrooms and explore the humanness of entrepreneurship, the journeys, the passions, the inner worlds of founders. Today, I'm joined by Tushar Gaur, an architect, thinker, and founder of Rhizome, an international architecture and design practice with studios in Gurugram and Sydney. A CEPT University alumnus and an Erasmus Mundus scholar from Politecnico di Milano, Tushar's career has spanned working with visionaries like Doshi and Gurmeet Singh Chauhan to build Rhizome, a studio known for its clarity of thought, context-sensitive design, and its distinctive 4D philosophy that balances economy, environment, experience, and essence. Under his leadership, Rhizome has crafted some of India's most recognizable hospitality and residential projects, from the Marriott at Jim Corbett and Chikmagalur to ITC Welcome, Katra, and upcoming Khyber in Srinagar, each reflecting his commitment to architecture that not only stands out but also belongs. Let's unbox the story of how Tushar built a cross-continental practice that blends craft, culture, and contemporary thinking into spaces that move people. Let's unbox Tushar. Welcome, Tushar. Welcome to Founder Unboxed.
Thank you, Kabir. Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. My pleasure. So let's go back a few years. Let's talk about what kind of a kid were you while growing up?
So I would say inquisitive. What it led to was a lot of breaking in the house, opening up the toys, opening up electronics.
Wonderful.
Once actually I opened the radio set to see where the volume is coming from.
Wonderful.
So
very पिटाई भी काफी होती होगी.
बहुत पिटाई हुई है.
कितने रेडियो तोड़े आपने?
I was not allowed to touch the radio after first one.
So your parents learned early.
Yes. That.
Wonderful, excellent. And what was home for you? What part of the country did you grow up?
So I was born in actually a village,
a
proper village.
Okay.
My father studied there and was teaching in a inter college.
Okay.
So he retired as a teacher.
Okay.
When I was around 5 or 6, we moved from village to the district center, which is Bulandshahr.
Okay, wonderful.
And then my education continued. And my father's passion was because he was from background in education. Yeah. So he wanted us to have the best of education he could afford at that time.
And you moved to Lucknow for further senior education? Or
No, it's till 12th. I was in Bulandshahr.
Okay.
And post my 12th exams, when I cleared the boards, +2, then I went for the university in Lucknow.
Okay, wonderful. So what were some of the early influences? Let's say when you started school, were there some teachers or maybe your parents who influenced you a lot?
So I have always seen my father being a teacher, a very authoritative figure, not just in the home, but also in the society. He commanded a certain kind of respect. He commanded a certain sense of knowledge, which he used. It was not always a knowledge on shelf. So he always says this, the knowledge on shelf is useless.
Correct.
It has to be in the action. Obviously became the first influence, but at the same time, he was a very hardworking man. So during the time when we were growing up, he was working really, really hard so that he could get us the education we wanted.
Did it ever inspire you to teach or getting into education some way or the other?
I teach, but my motives are largely selfish. That motive is that to retain education, you have to educate. So if I go and teach somewhere in any university, obviously I get a lot of ideas from students when I work with them. I get to share a lot of my experiences and learn from their experiences. So it's not, I don't go and teach just because I want to teach people. I go and teach because I want to learn.
Wonderful.
So I take up courses, I go for juries, and whenever I have get these opportunities, the only thing I'm looking for is that, okay, what is the new perspective coming in? What is an 18-year-old boy thinking about architecture right now? Let's say if I talk about architecture. So because that really makes you think unusually, and especially in the educational environment.
And also probably gives you an insight of how things will evolve over the next 5, 10, 15 years? Is that also something that you ponder?
So education is not shaping the market forces, and
Okay.
the shape of the work we do is more political and economically driven than from the education side.
Fair.
But the competence always changes the way you approach the same problem.
Correct.
So let's say if in our studio, somebody who is very good at making fast renderings, our style of presentation changes, and because they come with that kind of information and experience, and with our way of working in the design, we really get better outcomes on design, faster executions, faster turnaround. So that actually enables you to do more in less.
Which is really the struggle these days. I
Yeah.
mean, time ki to kami hai, of
Yeah.
course. But same resources, if you obviously can get a higher, a more effective output, so that's a win for sure.
One more thing I think I've learned the hard way in our work is that seldom ask our team that how can it be done better and faster. We, being the head of the organization, we think we know it all, and we tell them, okay, do this, and come up with this. And sometimes if you just ask them that, okay, I'm thinking about this, and can it be done faster, you will be amazed to see that they will do it faster, better, in less time, more effective, and sometimes even better.
Tell you something, I was listening to this podcast some time back. See, someone who is 25, maybe a young junior architect or someone who's joined your organization, has been brought up with a cell phone in his hand. We have not been brought up with a cell phone in our hand. So their ways of learning, their ways of assimilation of knowledge, ease of referring to resources which are available online currently, their acceptance of what they read and how they implement is way different from what we've done. And if the environment of the world is changing based on that we might as well also bring that skill in and use it to our advantage than still kind of struggling it the old way. In that podcast they said कि हम कई दफा नहीं समझ पाते हैं कि skills जो आजकल young minds are bringing in, and it's our advantage that we can kind of use that.
I would say that laziness is an asset if you find to do the same output smartly. And this generation is not too much topped up on the hard work. We were really bullied to work hard in our education, then in our domain, and we think that is the only way to excel in the areas of our work.
Correct.
Which is partly true also, but not necessarily the only truth.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's an important determinant, but not the only determinant.
Yeah.
So tell me, at what moment did you get to know that you wanted to do architecture, and what was the influence or thinking at that time?
My architectural journey was more of a reaction than an active choice.
Okay.
I appeared for JE, which I could not crack.
Okay.
And I didn't want to become an engineer from anywhere else. And I thought, okay, let me see that if I can do anything else better.
Okay.
And I scored 112 in UP state exam for architecture.
Okay.
Which was a very good rank.
Okay.
Got a very good college. I actually realized after I finished my first year that I can become a good architect.
Oh, okay.
So for first year, I was struggling with this idea that, okay, do I want to be an architect? Do I want to be an architect? My father was also pushing me that, okay, this is a 5-year course. You have used 1 year. Still, if you want to go for computer science, you can go back to computer science, still finish your degree in the same period of time.
Okay.
But after the first year, second semester design studio, I realized that, okay, I have some talent.
I have come to the right place.
Yeah, I have some talent which teachers in my college were able to uncover for me.
Achha.
And I could do things in a little different way. I could solve problems in a little different method, which gave me this reinforcement that, okay, I can build a career in this. And from then, it is just love. Before that, it was just a struggle for 1 year that I just wanted to understand that, okay, can I do architecture or not do?
So your parents were fine with that decision once you said, okay, at the end of first year, okay, this is what I want to do.
Yes.
Yeah. They were supportive?
Very supportive. I would say this is one of the traits of my father. From early on, he always let me take a decision, even the wrong ones.
How were the 5 years of your college? How did you shape as a person, and how did you evolve over these years?
So first year was for sure a mental struggle that obviously I was not sure I wanted to do this or not do that. Once it became clear to me that, okay, I want to pursue this as my future, I got interested in everything. in architecture. So I got interested. And architecture is nothing but a reflection of everything in your life. So your society, your philosophy, your religion, your food, your music, your art, whatever is happening in the life will happen in architecture eventually, because this is the most concrete form of art.
Sure.
And it travels. So I started, the first impact of it was that I started understanding classical music.
Okay.
Because all the great architects whom I had a pleasure of interacting with, they recommended that you should understand classical.
Explain that a little more. How does music influence architecture?
So let's say if you are hearing Bhimpalasi, now there is a structure to Bhimpalasi. Only if you understand that what is the structure of the Bhimpalasi, then you will be able to appreciate that, okay, this is going in this way, this sur is here, this sur is there. Now, the freedom of how the rendering is done, it is completely on the artist. So he will or she will take that, or the instrumental will take that in a different zone, which is actually bordering, even sometime going out of the range of Bhimpalasi. And then when you understand the structure and what is the freedom given in that structure, it allows you to think the same way in, for instance, in architecture, bylaws. Now, where can you puncture a bylaw and still be remaining inside the law?
Or even the brief for that matter.
Yes, yes.
I mean,
So
you are setting up a boundary, a constraint.
Yes.
Yet have the flexibility within that constraint to be
Yes.
able to work.
Yeah. So that is very, very interesting for architects. I think the best architecture happens when you reprogram the brief. If you take the brief and just do it, it's usually a bad recipe, because you have not put the thought into.
You've not made it your own in a way.
Yeah.
And of course, I've also heard that mathematics students are good at music and music students are good at mathematics, because there's also a form and a structure and a rep pattern to it. And I believe it could also be the same for architecture for that matter.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Very cool. So you've worked with masters like B.V. Doshi and Gurmeet Singh Chauhan. How has that really affected you as a person, at a personal level, and of course as a professional?
So I would like to add one more name in this list is Professor Utpal Sharma. He was the one that my training under.
Okay.
And it was through his office that I worked with B.V. Doshi, because we were doing a project with B.V. Doshi under him. So these three people have a very different approach to work. Now let's start with Utpal sir. Utpal sir was a master of scale. You could give him a 5,000-acre development and you could give him a bell tower to design. These were the two projects we did with him when he was designing.
Two extremes.
Two extremes. And he would sketch both of them on scale with the precision.
Wow.
Gifted, very gifted on this. So I remember that he would lay down this huge sheets in the room and everything is printed and he's sitting over them and sketching with big markers, road, structure plan, plantation and all that. And he asked me to copy one of the part, scan it and produce it as a drawing. I read the data wrong and I took a print and got to him and I showed him that this is not my plan. Just by looking at it, this is not my plan. This circle is smaller. I said, sir, I have measured it. Then your scale is wrong.
Oh my God.
And my scale was wrong.
Wow.
He was right. I had measured, I think 500 meter instead of 50 meter or something.
Oh my God. Okay.
So I was off by the scale of 10.
Wow.
And he could just see and so he would say in that slang that just measure and draw. Don't put your brain there. I know what I've done. So amazing control on.
And a great example of how the brain gets rewired, I guess. Then as experience grows, you use it without realizing it. And what about Mr. Doshi and Mr.
So
Chauhan?
Doshi sir, I got a chance to work with him and then he taught us in the studio when I was a student of Masters in Theory and Design in CEPT. So I got a chance, and he was also a final critic of my thesis. So I worked with him on various levels. And I think the great thing about him is his ability to accept his judgment as the final thing. So he would look at a model and say, move it, and stop. Now this looks right. Now measure it and do.
Sure. Okay.
So he was trained in that way. He could actually take a judgment very, very strongly. Understanding that where should it move. It is beyond the mathematics. It is beyond drawing. It is beyond everything. He would just by hand say, okay, this much it should be. I don't know how much is this, but this much it should be. So this judgment, what was in his eyes and his hand, it was amazing to see and learn from that. Okay, this is also one way of doing architecture. And he has done amazing buildings. And that is the result of it.
So what were your takeaways, having worked with such illustrious people? How has that translated into active things that you follow in your organization at this point in time?
So let's say if I talk about Utpal sir and B.V. Doshi specifically, learning from them, one is that he would re-articulate the problems. They will re-articulate the problems very well.
Okay.
So they would repeatedly ask, what is that we are doing?
Correct.
Is it what we are doing? Is it what we are doing? And that will actually reprogram the brief. One of the very, very wonderful exercises which we used to do with him was that if I do not call room a room, would you design the room the same way if I call it a room? So if I just say a sleeping space, name it by activity. Now, as soon as you say that sleeping space, your brain is rewired to think about the space differently rather than a room. So these things we have brought into our design studio. Whenever we are stuck, that we are not able to crack through the design concept, we go back to the basics that, okay, can we rethink about it in one of these ways? Can we understand this from one of these angles? So how can you change your position to look at the same thing from different angles?
So interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more about function or relooking at it from a functional point of view than just a nomenclature or just a name.
Yeah. So this is the problem of the language. Meaning is attached to a word. As soon as you say a word, the meaning will come to your mind. There is an image, sound, it will all come to your mind.
Correct.
Detach it. The word becomes alive. Then you start feeling the word. And as soon as you start feeling the word, you can design it better. Yeah.
So, Tushar, how did Rhizome come into existence and when?
So I came back in 2011, end of 2011, from Milan after finishing my education in Politecnico. I completed my thesis in CEPT and came back to Delhi. And I started working here with a friend as an associate.
Okay.
When you are coming from this background, you want that expression to come out, that what you want to do, what you want to achieve in architecture. And in one of the projects, we had a little difference of opinion.
Okay.
And that difference of opinion went bigger and bigger by the day. And we thought that this is not going to work out because these are very strong opinions.
Deal breakers.
Yeah, deal breakers for each other. That led to, as a reaction again, as an architecture was reaction to something, this was also a reaction to this situation. And I really wanted to do, there is this quote where he says that everything is designed, but only few things are designed well. So I take this few things are designed well very, very seriously. And I really wanted to design well. Even at that point of time, that was the good design is a good business for us. So if we design well, eventually the business will bloom. That was the fundamental idea from which I started. And that led to the birth of the Rhizome. That, okay, I want to do it this way, and this is a right direction to take. Let me take a chance. And there was hardly anything to lose. When you start a design practice, there is not much investment. You are not investing crores of rupees into a setup that will fail. You are employing your intellect and a certain software systems. So I think it was very easy to do. Yeah.
But I'm going to come to a little more in detail about Rhizome, but I also want to go back a little bit to Milan.
Yeah.
And firstly, how did you decide to go to Milan? And what drew you to Milan? And what did you bring back with you?
Okay. Year was 2009 and I was applying for master's. I got selected in CEPT, in Theory and Design, IIT Roorkee, SPA, and Politecnico di Milano. And that time, I wanted to go to Politecnico di Milano, but I could not secure the right scholarship, which would give me larger waivers and support for staying in there. And that was a very conscious decision that I said that, okay, I don't want to go to Milan and I'll go to CEPT University and do my master's in Theory and Design. As luck would have it, Erasmus Mundus scholarship opened up this very next year,
Interesting.
where the partner universities were Politecnico di Milano and CEPT University.
Very interesting.
And my program was a partner program in that. I applied for that scholarship, and I was fortunate enough among the 4 other people to get the seat.
ये तो आपके लिए ही बनी थी.
So something like this, actually, because I say that it is again a destiny more than my doing, and I got paid flying,
Oh, okay.
hostels, stipend,
Okay.
and a great courses to work on.
Wow.
Because it also gave me this freedom in the structure of credits that I could choose any course I wanted. Because exchange students have that liberty.
Okay.
If I was a regular student, then I had to do some compulsory courses.
Program. Okay.
So those courses, I just had to get approved from my dean here and submit there that these are approved courses. And I got a chance to study philosophy. I got a chance to study sociology, urban ethnography, what filmmaking, how the city works as a set.
Wow.
These were the courses available in Politecnico di Milano.
Wonderful.
So you can go and do this.
Did you also pick up some Italian?
Yeah, some poco.
Excellent. So, and how long were you in?
12 months.
12 months,
Yeah.
etc. And
Yeah.
must have been a very enriching period for you.
Yes, very enriching. So my education has 3 parts. One is that I got my bachelor's from Lucknow, then my master's from CEPT, and then this exchange program from Politecnico di Milano. Now, every place gave me a different kind of knowledge set. From Lucknow, I got to know what and how. What is architecture and how to do it. For 5 years, I was trained very well. I could make good, wonderful drawings, work on computers.
वही काफी होता है.
हाँ. CEPT gave me why. Why we do architecture. What is a layer going next to it. And what is the theory, history, people, philosophy, all that, Milan, and especially my travels in Europe at that time, I traveled extensively in those times.
Okay.
And it could tell me the impact and interpretation of that building, which is done well.
Wow.
So
what good architecture means.
Yes. So what it can do to urban plaza, what it can do for the owners, what it can do for the society. So how these spaces come out and what happens to the city if there is a great building in the city.
Wow. Excellent.
Bilbao effect,
Yeah.
if you know about it. So the whole city is now surviving on one building.
Having traveled in Europe extensively, you may have also been influenced by different architectural styles or kinds of buildings, etc. Do they still find a place in your work at this time?
Yeah. I think one of the great learnings from that time was that no style in particular is good or bad. It is a means to an end.
Fair.
You want to express something, you use a particular style to achieve that.
Okay.
And that is why in our studio or our work, you will see we are not bound to 1 or 2 styles of architecture. And it is also non-logical that, okay, we do 2 or 3 styles of architecture and this is our expression. This is also not the economy we are working in right now.
Yeah.
This is a post-Fordist economy. We can have all the colors of car,
True.
even without
Not
being
even
blacks.
black, yeah.
So it's a post-Fordist economy and it works better this way. But this education that, okay, architecture in Malaga can also be similarly interesting as a Roman architecture. And that will also evoke the certain kind of expressions in your heart, which not necessarily has to be done only one way. So there is no one right way to achieve that final output is actually translated from there because I've experienced it from multiple dimensions of architecture.
And hence even blending of different influences, etc. may justify in certain cases. May also.
Yes, because there is a natural association of styles. If I take food is one of the very good examples. Doshi sir, this is also what I picked from Doshi sir.
Okay.
His all architecture examples were coming from food.
Food.
Yeah, because you know food better than architecture. So if you bring it down to food, you understand it better.
Interesting.
So let's say in pasta, you use tomato, right? And there is a curry-based complete palette in India which also use tomato as a base.
Yeah.
Can you switch them with pasta? Indian?
May not. No.
Not.
Yeah.
Why? Because the ingredient is the same, but the outcome is very different. The way you are expressing that food and how it is going to give you the palette is very different. So ingredient might be the same. So there is a natural pairing of styles, like in food. So there is a cheese which goes well with wine or a juice or something, but might not go well with the other thing. So there is a natural pairing of architectural styles also.
Okay.
This way that you can, let's say, if I have to, we are actually doing a project where we're using this, that we are making some kind of a Kashmiri architecture influence, which is inspired from Gothic.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
So, because they're very close with each other, vertical lines, horizontal lines, patterns, integrate details, they are part of the both. But arches, shape of the arches is quite similar, pointed arches. And you can blend them to create a new expression. But it's not a style. There is a difference between style and expression. It's just an expression.
Okay. Yeah. So tell me something, when you create something which is close to your heart and you've put in knowledge and of course experience for so many years, the expression is of course something that is close to your heart as well. You know, it's like my child. Do people receive it the way you intended, or is it only for people who really understand architecture? Because most people only use a building or use a house. They don't really feel the house, or even if it's their own, they don't understand what went into making it. How does that feel for you?
It's actually a great question. Because I love Christopher Nolan movies. And when I was, let's say, 25, 26, I loved them. Now I'm 41. I love them. My son is 7, 6.5. He loves them. My wife also loves them. And we love it for different reasons. Yeah. The same product for different reasons. He loves the action. I love the detail. Yeah. So architecture is also layered on these levels. You have to give at every level a certain amount of information to and experience to the user. So there is a fatigue function in architecture, which is a facade. Facade has to be beautiful, because if there is no good fatigue function of architecture, you will not be attracted towards it.
Correct.
Now when you enter inside, the facade is already outside. Now there is a second meaning starting. Then you have to create that space in very balanced light, where the light is coming from, wind, air, sun, all that. So every time when somebody... Now the problem is people cannot express architecture in words. So when you ask somebody that how do you experience the architecture, great architecture is experienced the same way by everybody. It is the only difference that architects can articulate it into the words because we are trained to do that.
Correct.
But a normal user who is not trained in architecture, he will experience the same things, but he will not be able to articulate it in the same way. So for me, the problem is meaning is not something we can solve. Problem of intent we can solve. We have to put intent at different layers, make it richer, and people will experience it. Like, again, going back to food, good food experienced by everybody likes it. They might not tell you it is elaichi or something else which is making it better. So they might not know what ingredient is that they love, but they know it is a good food to eat.
Correct.
And that is more important for us, that they experience the goodness of it, not necessarily become the critic of it.
So this is obviously post building. Once the building is in this place, people experience it, users experience it. Maybe the architect is also experiencing it for the first time because the structure wasn't there. Right? But what about before a project starts? Like someone who wants to eat something, let's go back to food again.
Yeah.
I don't know what I want to eat, but I'm hungry.
Yeah.
There's a need. I want to have vegetarian, right, or vegan. And maybe I know that I don't like Loki and I don't like Shimla mirch, but I like other things.
Yep.
How do you decide as a chef or as an architect what goes in? And that I will, because I have to live with it for maybe the rest of my life. In case, of course, the house, that I will continue to like that, and it's something that comes from deep inside me. How do you decide for that?
So there are tools of doing good architecture, which we have been trained with.
Okay.
There are tools of arriving at a concept which we have been trained with. So first is employing those simple tools, which are part of our education and practice. Second is where you add the flavors. Adding of a scale, let's say, let me give you a residence example because you're talking about residence. Let's say you enter into a house and the volume of room, this big room where we are sitting, but the height is 3 times this room.
Okay.
Just imagine this room with 3 times of the height.
Fair.
What experience will you get? Now keep reducing the height and bring this down to 8 feet. What changes in that experience? Now we have to understand from him that how he wants to make his guest feel in the atrium when he enters his house. He wants to show the scale and power, or he wants to show the warmth and coziness. Now you will go to a lot of farmhouses, you will see these 3 triple height volumes. Now the expression is very clear. This is here we are, and this is the difference between the status. And just bring it to 10 feet level. They don't care how big their house is. They want to make you feel human. So this feeling is the one we designed for. Can this feeling change over time? Yes. Their intent might change over time. So can the space be transformed with the interiors?
Okay.
Bringing more light in, cutting down the light, making it higher, lower. So all that is controllable. And if you make a space more universal in nature, you will see that this is much easier to do than any other things. And
interesting.
One more thing is that the goodness of the space and its proportion is experienced by everybody. So when you go, let me give you a temple example. Indian temples. Indian temples, you start with a very large halls and you go to Garbhagriha, very intimate space. There is a transition happening in the volume.
Correct.
They're cutting down the people in the plan and in section. But if you see, the height is ultimately opposite in the Garbhagriha. It is the highest. So this is how you curate that experience. You do not know that it's being curated this way, but this is how you curate.
So there's a process that you follow to be able to also bring in that, put the brief into words. You need to be able to define it for the customer first.
Yes.
And then follow it, bring out the structure that you design.
Yes.
Excellent. Now, tell me now from a point of view of scale, when you started Rhizome, let's go back to beginning of Rhizome. What did you imagine the scale of Rhizome maybe 15 years, 10 years after you had? Were there any initial dreams that you had?
So I'm very unhappy to report to you that we have failed on all the dreams. Okay. So we have not
I guess the dreams evolved into something else.
Because when we started the practice, we really wanted to do a lot of public architecture. And for public architecture, you have to build a portfolio, you have to qualify for certain pre-qualifications of experience, turnovers and all that before you can do a public architecture, right? And we did not know that when we started the company. And we started going out and asking for work and meeting people, and then said, okay, somebody asked me on a call, I called somebody that I want to work with you on this project. And he said, what is your experience? So I said, it's around 4 years. He said, we don't even entertain anybody below 15 years of experience for even application. So I said, do you have tea with people with 4 years of experience, or that is also with 15 years of experience? And that is how I secured that meeting with him. Okay. So he invited me over the cup of coffee. We did not get work. We did not work with him.
But you got to know vital information.
Yes. I understood that what all I have to do before I qualify with him.
Yeah, I guess also not only experience, but also projects of a certain size. I think, the way I understand projects like this work is that you should have done projects, and if you up to a certain level in terms, and then your threshold also keeps increasing if you want a bigger project.
Yes.
So it's, I think, stacked up against young companies.
Again, looking back now, it's the best thing that could have happened.
Okay.
Hustle.
So that was your first setback.
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
How did you pivot? What did you decide after that?
We said that, okay, let's build on it. How do you build? If you have done nothing, you have built nothing, you start building it small. We started building small. We started building it better than others because we were more talented and more focused in that space. Say this to my team usually कि सर कंपनी कैसे बड़ी हुई, तो मैं उनको बोलता हूँ कि जैसे विष्णु जी का मत्स्य अवतार हुआ था तो जितने पानी में रखते थे उतने ही बड़े हो जाते थे, तो हमें जितनी अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिलती गई हम उतने बड़े होते गए. So 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 10 people, 15 people, 20 people, now 25 people. As soon as we will get an opportunity to get bigger than that, we'll grow to that size. So we are very conscious about this now, that we don't want to just become big. We want to also become meaningful.
Growth with purpose.
Yes. So we want to do projects. We want to bring that sensibility into our architecture, and it is not my sensibility. This is also one of the biggest misconceptions architects have. It is not my practice. I'm just a person heading this, but it is built by these 25 people which are working with me. So we have a collective consciousness as a company.
Okay, wonderful.
and we work on that idea. Now that collective consciousness, how it is shaping, is obviously the direction which I try to give to my people. But they bring in their own point of views, and they build with me, and that is what we look forward to. Because otherwise, all my buildings would have looked the same. Yeah.
So, were there any other setbacks that became actually pivots, or that became guides for you?
Scale, I think, was the first and the biggest, which is a constant setback for any business. I would say, not just architecture, but any business. That how you scale and become big.
Sure.
Apart from that, there are specialized domains. So let's say we right now operate in 3 specialized domains. One is hospitality, second is real estate, and third is luxury farmhouses. Now, to enter into every domain, when you have not done a work in that domain before, it's a complete exercise. How you crack the domain, how you get the first project,
Correct,
and do it well. Now that is with every domain we have cracked.
Okay.
And there is a process to it. I would say we now understand that if we have to open another typology, how to do it.
Yeah. So we spoke about briefly, and I read about it, about your 4E design philosophy.
Yeah.
Which is economy, environment, experience, and essence.
Yeah.
Talk a little more about that. Talk a little bit.
So architecture is a product of economy, and that's why economics of the project is the first thing. Usually every project starts on an Excel sheet.
Correct.
It's not the sketch. It is not even the idea. It is a budget. If you don't crack it right, then you don't have any project. So it has to make economic sense. Sometime when we work on a project, we get a project and it does not make any economic sense to us. We advise the clients that don't do it. This will not survive.
So when you say economic sense, what does it mean? Their business, or just the structure that you're getting into, or the payback of the structure? I mean, how do you determine economics?
So I'm talking about 2 specific domains here: hospitality and real estate. Residence, there is no economics. It is just the capability of parking the money, how much you can park there, right? But for hospitality, let's say you are building on a location, and we understand that this market is churning out this kind of money. Now, if I invest this kind of money into this project, will it recover this money in 7-8 years?
Interesting. Okay.
If it can't, we will make this question to the owners that have you seen the feasibility study? Can you share with me the report of feasibility study, so that I can also understand what I'm overlooking.
Okay.
And sometimes there is no feasibility study. So we guide them, okay, get a feasibility study done. And we find that, and we decide that, okay, this project is not viable right now. Maybe in this market it is not
even
viable.
at the cost of your own business, in the sense,
No.
Why should you care? Will they make money or not?
If the project is stopped, my project is stopped, and my name goes down with that. So it's never about unfinished projects. It is always about finished projects which are working well. Everything has to work eventually. We are not in the business of design. Okay, we are business of building. So we build buildings. Design is part of it.
Okay.
So when you want to build a building, you want to see through that this finishes.
The process finishes.
Yeah. And it opens. This project opens. So that's very important for us.
So Tushar, you run the business and the practice in 2 continents, in the cities of Gurugram and in Sydney. What's the difference in working in these 2 different areas, and what do you learn from both?
Huge amount of difference in the way architecture is approached in both the countries and cities. Architecture in India is more strict. The bylaws are more strict. They are more prescriptive in nature.
Okay.
There it is more intent-based.
Okay.
So there is a huge amount of involvement of the council, and there is of your neighbors. So there is a lot of consent. And unlike in India, you can go to court and get a sanction in Sydney. So we have done that. That's major difference. But apart from that, if I see that what good architecture in India, we do the bare minimum through our bylaws. So let's say we have setbacks. We have height control. They also have it. But we have by numbers.
Okay.
So setback 6 meter, 6 meter, 9 meter, 12 meter, let's say something like this. Height 36 meters or 45 meters. And this is the control for us. Ground coverage is a control, and everything is defined in this control. But there it is more about intent. Now why do you control the height of a building? Because you don't want the shadows coming to the next building.
Okay.
So one is this. What they ask from us is, you can make any height you want. Make sure the shadow doesn't come to the building. And demonstrate it on the drawing and take the sanction. It's okay.
Wonderful.
So that intent is the primary thing. another thing is that you cannot build next to somebody's drawing room, next to somebody's bedroom, your drawing room.
Okay.
Because you will party, you will have loud music, you will have guests over, and this guy is, trying to sleep. And just commonsensical thing.
Yeah.
But that is the intent. Balcony will have to be on the other side from the master bedroom. You need to have a certain amount of sunlight per day in the apartments, and certain percentage of apartment should have that kind of a sunlight. Now,
Interesting.
the solar active design, simple part, and it is part of the intent. You have to demonstrate that intent. If you demonstrate, you can get the sanction. So it brings in a lot of, I would say, sensitivities from that environment to here, and also a lot of rigidity which we take back. That this is my right. This is how I can crack this around. So we exchange this information in both the practices, and it
so
makes
you've
it
learned
richer.
and brought here, intent and other areas that you've learned from there and brought it.
Yes, for sure. It always happens. There was this course I briefly mentioned about urban ethnography. It's an interesting course where you have to go to a space without knowing any bylaw, without knowing anything about the city, and interpret what are the fundamentals of design.
Oh, I see.
So you just leave, you go to any space and just try and understand why the city is like this. So you understand, and then you use that knowledge back. So
also sensing patterns of neighborhoods.
Yes.
Right? So what do you see is your strength as a entrepreneur, as a founder of Rhizome?
Okay, see, in architecture, especially the business we are into, so there's architecture and design.
Correct.
There are, I would say, 3 departments you have to be very good at. First is how you evolve your concepts.
Okay.
Second is how you take the stakeholders together in that concept. So it is not just my design, it is us. So everything has to work out. And third is how you get it built. Now, these all 3 things have to have a different kind of capabilities in your team.
Correct.
Now, execution, documentation capabilities, management capabilities, how you manage a project, how you see through that everything is done in the same way. So we have created a lot of checklists for that to get the things done right. Then is, when you are doing a concept, how much more influence you can bring in the how this concept is very sensitive towards the context, the place, people. Now, when you do that, when you start working on that, so there are certain studies we do for every project. So there is a context study, there is architectural study, there is a heritage study. So these 4-5 studies when come, it gives us the complete picture of the place and what is important in the place.
But this is true as the company has evolved.
Yes.
When you look at yourself today after having run the company for so, what do you feel is your superpower or your strength that you bring to the table that either nobody does, or maybe even if they do, but you say that, this is what I bring to the table?
Spotting the best idea in the room.
Okay.
I have no ego about that it has to be my idea.
Okay.
So if you tell me that it's a fantastic thing and I like it, and I know that of the 5 things we are discussing, this is going to shine, I will just pick it up like this. Okay. And I'll say, okay, let's work on this. Let's make it better. How we can make it better.
The humility to have that.
Yes. Client says something which is right, I accept it. Mason says something right, I accept it. My team says something right, I accept it. And actually, I want them to be more right about these things because they spend more time on the project than I do.
And what would you say is one weak spot or a blind spot that you have?
I have this obsession with process.
Okay.
Sometimes if they break the process and do the good work, I like that good work, but I don't like breaking the process. So I still say that, okay, check everything. And that is actually my blind spot there because sometimes I overstick to the process.
Does it hold you back, you feel?
Sometimes yes. Sometimes yes. But growth, a systematic growth can only be done when you stick to certain things. Otherwise, it will grow in every direction. So we have to really know that.
So what's next for Rhizome? I mean, what are the new directions, new typologies, etc., that you're looking at?
Depth over width.
Okay.
So let's say right now we are doing 15 hotels. We would like to do 50.
Okay.
We are doing 15-20 farmhouses. Again 50-60. Real estate again. So I'm more concerned about the depth and penetration in the market and my market share than about the typologies. Because typologies, you will always get. But when you do more work, your ability to do better improves. So you are improving with every project, and you are improving with every work you are doing.
Deeper and
so you are becoming more finer. You understand the difference, and you bring more quality of the work onto the table.
And
So
I'm sure clients also perceive that.
Yes. It's very well rewarded in the market.
Wonderful. How has your experience with AI been, and how do you see it growing, of course, in the industry and in Rhizome?
So it's a very good tool. You have to look at it as a tool, and it's a very good tool. We use AI. We use a program called Midjourney.
Midjourney, of course.
So it's an image generation, prompt-based image generation system. What I do, and I do this exercise with my clients usually, sitting with them. I ask them, define your house, or define your project, define your hotel, define your real estate project. And they would give me some definition. Now, what happens without this is that we get this definition, and we try to find out some ideas which are matching to that to create a mood board. Now you can do it live, and you can keep changing the prompts, and they will keep changing you the feedback. So the feedback loop is much shorter now. So you can arrive at the right direction of a project much faster.
You can show them visual examples and maybe by elimination come to what they're looking for.
It's very helpful. And I'm sure it will grow in other domains also, but this is the domain we are using it right now for. So for programming and direction, in which direction we should go with the project.
That brings us to the rapid fire part of this talk, and I'm going to ask you 5 questions. You'll have 60 seconds to answer them. The good thing is that I don't have a stopwatch, so it's a flexible 60 seconds. But still, in the interest of brevity, quick answers.
Okay.
So my first question is that give me one business or creative hack that you swear by.
To-do list.
To-do list. Awesome. One personal or life hack that has kept you grounded.
There are 2. One is absurdism.
Okay.
Nothing means nothing. So the too much value attached to ourselves, ideas, personality, what we are doing is, useless. And second is this Buddhist philosophy of Madhyam Marg. Avoid the extremes. Whatever you're doing, avoid the extremes. So I don't want to go into any extremes for anything.
Interesting. Yeah. Very cool. So one mindset shift that has changed the way you see design or entrepreneurship.
So this question has actually 2 parts for me. The way I see design, because I never thought design work or my practice as entrepreneurship before that. And that was the shift.
Wow.
That this is a business. It's not a means to express your own ideas into the world. It's a design business. And when I first understood it, with thanks to a few of my friends, that this is a business, it really changed a lot of ways in which we did business. Over attachment, doing it right. That is
not
more
taking
important.
It personally. But,
No.
So one building anywhere in the world that you wish you had designed.
There are so many. I would say, I usually find a lot of good work and get jealous. So it is not about if they're living or dead. If they're dead, let's say if the building was done 2000 years back, it makes me feel that I can't do this still. They did it 2000 years back. So what to do now? And when I see somebody doing it now, I say, wow, yeah, this guy has done so much good work. So I really take from a lot. I don't think I can say one building in that.
Anyway. So what about one book, artist or architect who continues to inspire you? Any one of those 3.
So one of the biggest influence on my reading habit has been Italo Calvino.
Okay.
So there's 2 books by him. One is Cosmoeconomics. And it's a wonderfully written book. Every time you read this book, you will find a new perspective, new idea. Something new will come to you. So I would say Cosmoeconomics.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Tushar. It's been an absolute pleasure talking with you.
It's been wonderful. I think the conversation was actually enriching for me also.
Thank you so much.
I found so many new things.
The sad part is that I've gone through only 50% of my questions. I think we could have spoken for another hour. But I guess, that's the constraint for this time. I hope we will get together again sometime.
Sure.
But thank you so much.
Great to be here.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So that was Mr. Tushar Gaur on Founder Unboxed, a conversation that has traveled from the studios of CEPT and piazzas of Milan and the mountains of Srinagar to the resorts of Jim Corbett, each space telling a story of clarity, context, and craft. What stood out was how Tushar sees architecture as a living dialogue between nature, structure, and between client and context, between vision and execution. His journey reminds us that great architecture isn't just about building for the eye, but for the spirit, spaces that breathe, belong, and endure. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others who believe that good design can change the way we live, work, and feel. Thank you very much.